News.
Breaking news, an endangered missing advisory has been issued to determine the whereabouts of this man, Elmer Ramirez Rojas. He was last seen yesterday morning traveling to Hebron, Nebraska. Rojas is about 5'4", 130 pounds. He has brown hair, brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a gray long sleeve shirt, a gray short sleeve shirt on top, blue jeans, and brown work boots. He was driving a 2006 maroon Honda Ridgeline. If you have any information about where he might be, you're asked to call 911.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 Streaming. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. It's good to have you with us, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. A first alert to a very foggy morning. That's what I get for trying to say it twice.
Welcome to my world. I'm trying to say it over and over and over. But yes, you are correct. There are quite a few areas of patchy fog where it's dense. Jarrett's going to touch on where the worst of it is impacting traffic here in a little bit, but this is just one of the views that we have, and not every camera looks like this, but it gives you an indication. The worst of it in the metro seems to be downtown. It gets a lot better as you head a little farther to the west, but we're at 71 with a dew point of 70. That's almost saturated air when those two numbers are close together, and that's how we get the fog forming. So be mindful of that in the drop-off forecast as you're taking the kids. Right around 70 degrees. We're 75 by 9, and that jump in the temperature there will be what causes the fog to go away. Thank goodness there's not a thick layer of clouds above this. The sun can warm the ground and the low layer of clouds and get rid of this pretty easily. So upper 60s, lower 70s right now all across the area in the metro and outside of the metro, I should say. The rest of the viewing area, mid and upper 60s in west central Iowa. The muggy meter, it's going to be up there today. You can walk through the humidity this morning with the fog out there, and you're just going to feel that pretty much all day as the temperature starts to climb. So the heat index gets up into the mid 90s today with us warming quite a bit, pretty similar to what we had yesterday. Again, it all hinges on how fast we get rid of some of the fog. This is 144th and Dodge, and you can see the road there, so it varies a lot. We're going to climb to about 89 for the afternoon high today with quite a bit of sunshine once the fog goes away, so it looks a lot better there. I jumped all the way ahead to 10 o'clock tonight. Pretty uneventful day during the day today. We climbed to 89. The next thing to watch, a first alert to a couple spotty thunder showers early tomorrow morning that could drop in from the north. I don't think there's going to be a ton to it, but a couple of downpours right as you start the day tomorrow. If you're caught under one of those, it's a rough start to a Wednesday if you're not prepared. So a first alert to those out there to start the day Wednesday. That's the small chance of a thunderstorm. 89 for the high there, and 89 on Thursday as well. So pretty similar afternoons on the way today, tomorrow, and into Thursday the way things are looking.
Yes, so it's going to be warm, it's going to be humid, but on the other side of that, there's something good coming.
Yeah.
A nice cool down.
I'm just happy you guys paid attention to the forecast.
Yeah.
You guys know what's coming.
Yeah,
That's
we
good.
do.
So let's take a look at what's happening
when we like
over the course of the next several days. I don't show you this very much. The dew point forecast. The darker the green, the more humidity. Yeah, there's a lot of humidity. You see how it's drier farther to the west? This is why it's always drier in higher elevations up in the mountains and the panhandle of Nebraska. So through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're still immersed in this humidity. It actually pools a little bit before Friday night into Saturday. Some drier air drops in. Look at all that go away. The lighter shades of green, those are lower dew points, lower humidity, and the browns are some drier air. This would be a cold, dry air mass if this were January, but this works in our favor in a big way for the end of August. And look at this dip on the muggy meter down here in the pleasant and refreshing range. Starting Saturday, you'll really notice it Sunday into Monday, and the temperatures reflect that as well. There's about 3 days I'm watching. Kind of Saturday's the transition day with it rolling in after a small chance of a thunder shower early Saturday, late Friday, early Saturday. Look at that, 80, 78, 77. Look at these morning lows.
Wow.
Dipping down in the 50s. So that is some refreshing air. Many people like to open up the windows when it gets that way and just kind of air out the house a little bit and the stuffy, humid stuff that we've been having. So 3 days there to look really good, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
I didn't have the chance to do that this weekend. I was dying.
Yeah, I know. This will be a nice little break. We're not done with summer yet, but you'll get a little reprieve anyway.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the fog this morning, how it's affecting drivers on the roads.
Yeah, you're going to want to be
vigilant that you're going to see things changing as you're driving, because some areas are really bad with the fog and others not at all. And you're going to see that really well here with a graphic that I just love to show you how things are looking in different areas of the metro. This is what it's looking like about 680 near the Mormon River Bridge, or the Mormon Bridge over the Missouri River. You can see how hard it is to see toward the river with that fog. But then as you're closer to 90th and Dodge, it looks almost normal. So that's an indication of where we're seeing things differ as far as how the fog looks. Kind of see it on the horizon there near 144th and West Dodge. So when we look at the metro map, you can see that it's right downtown where it's the worst, over into Council Bluffs, and then especially as you're kind of hugging 680 and just to the north is where you have more of that thick fog being present. That's not to say there's not some further to the south. It's just not as widespread. It's a little thinner. You can see better as you're getting into some of those areas. We zoom outside of the metro. You're seeing the Luss Hills parked pretty well in near zero visibility. You've got that kind of extending off to the north and west, and did just extend that dense fog advisory. It does now include the metro through 9 a.m. So you're going to be wanting to be ready for that to be in place for some areas here as you're out and about here for the next couple of hours before we can really see that improvement taking place. Aside from the fog, we've been looking at a fairly smooth start to the commute. I've noticed we've started to back up into that 680 interchange from the construction zone on westbound I-80 right around Giles. Anytime we start getting those backups into that 680 interchange is where I start getting a little bit more concerned, because that can have a domino effect for travel on 680, domino effect for those who are heading west on I-80 as those delays build. So I'll keep an eye on that and a couple of other things that we have in play for today's commute, including back to school traffic, not just the high school students we've been talking about, but we've got some college kids that are back today. So we'll be talking about what areas are affected more.
All right, Jared, thank you. Keep us posted. On to your news now. A complaint against a former Omaha police officer is now dismissed. This means Adam Vale is eligible now to work in law enforcement again. He's still waiting to go to arbitration. The case could also return to the State Crime Commission. Last year, Vale shot and killed 37-year-old Cameron Ford while serving a no-knock warrant. Police Chief Todd Schmaderer said Vale violated department protocol. Police are looking for answers after a late-night cutting here in the metro. OPD say it happened at a liquor store near 24th and Leavenworth. One person was sent to the hospital after the incident. Police tell First Alert 6 they are still looking for a possible suspect.
All right, now to the safety desk over here with Maria Cade. Road rage, a big, dangerous problem in this country that some of us may be witnessing or engaging in while driving.
You know, I see it all the time, especially when you get on the highways, I-80, 680, you see it a lot. Not only impacts the driver's mental health, but of course can be very, very dangerous. So sometimes being behind the wheel, it can bring out a lot of those different feelings. So to steer clear of experiencing those feelings of road rage, doctors say first you want to check in with yourself. If you're anxious, maybe tired or hungry, even stressed, all of those things can impact a person's mood while they're driving. So you also want to make sure your car is cool, because those hot temps can actually trigger hot tempers.
Turn on the air conditioning, roll down the windows. This is going to help you to regulate your temperature and help you to feel calmer.
Experts say another road rage trigger is the feeling of being behind or late. I know when I've been in that situation, might be rushing a little bit more than you want to, so you want to make sure to give yourself extra time before you leave to go somewhere that's really important, or just in general.
Yeah, give some good tips, right, Maria Cade? Thank you. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. We are taking a live look outside. Now, I don't know where this is because of the fog.
I'm glad we put the little live thing up there, because otherwise we're like...
But this is real. Some of you will encounter this, but some of you won't encounter anything. Oh, this is Epley Airfield, I'm told.
All right.
That's the thing, Russ. It's like you could get that or nothing.
It's really shallow, too. It all depends on how high the camera is on a lot of these shots, too, because you have some dense fog. That's pretty low to the ground, and it looks just like that. It's wild how much it varies, but it'll all get better here over the course of the next 2 hours. Once we start to warm up, this will improve. But they have expanded the dense fog advisory to include a larger portion of the area, as this just tries to fill in a little bit more. So you can see all the counties shaded in gray here, but it's not even every part of every county either. It'll vary a lot with patchy dense fog. This is a look from the Children's Nebraska cam looking off towards the east, and you can see that layer of fog there in the distance, but the sun above it. So that sun will heat up the ground, heat up the lower portion of the air, and then that fog will go away. We just got to give it a couple hours to do its job here. Low 70s out there right now, and upper 60s, low 70s over much of the metro area. Those improve in the next couple of hours, and there goes the fog. But you can see it's a little cooler where the temperatures dipped a little bit more in northern counties. That's where the fog is a little thicker. The muggy meter still going to be up there today, as you're in the middle of the humidity right now with that fog, and it's going to be around all day long. So for today, we'll climb up to about 89 degrees for that afternoon high, the way it appears. A pretty typical summer day with the humidity. 89 today, 89 tomorrow as well, but there's also a couple little thunder showers to watch for. Notice this little batch dropping in from the north here. Short-term models have consistently showed a little something. Not much, but a couple of thunder showers, just enough to produce a downpour. I would say near and east of the river. There's not going to be a lot to these, and there still should be enough sunshine in between any clouds to warm up to 89 degrees, then 89 again on Thursday. Big dip in the muggy meter, looking really good. Still on the way this upcoming weekend. You'll notice the transition Saturday and into Sunday, and you can kind of see this here with the air mass that's moving in. There's a cooler air to the east already, and it's just going to get reinforced into the weekend and the early part of next week. If this were winter, this would be probably producing some lake effect snow, and these would be some bitter cold temperatures. But as of right now, this is just a nice little break, which is awesome. Until then, though, 89, 89, 89, 91 on Friday. Watch this Friday night into Saturday. That's the next chance of a couple of thunder showers, too, after the little round Wednesday morning moves in. None of this looks all that impressive, but just not a lot of rain to be found in the next 5 days anyway.
All right, and beyond the weekend, really starting to feel more like fall slowly but surely with some cooler temperatures.
Just about 3 days, it looks like that'll give us a little taste. It does look like things will rebound enough by the middle of next week, get back in the mid-80s, and we'll start to put together our Husker forecast as well for that game down at Arrowhead. You got to get the Kansas City forecast for you. A lot of people heading there, but as Aaron was mentioned, the cooler field might end up lasting through the rest of the month. Again, that may mean a lot of 70s and 80s for us. It might be hard to find some 90s if you're looking for a little bit of summer left over. And a lot of the pools, September 1 is Labor Day, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yep.
Okay. So that's when most pools will close up by Labor Day that Monday there. So we'll see. It's trending on the cooler side. It still doesn't mean you can't go, but it's not going to be that oppressive summer heat that you're used to.
Yeah. All right. Times are changing.
Yep.
Yeah, times changing for students, too. Many heading back to class at Creighton University today.
Yeah, we're adding in the college students now, in addition to all of the high school, middle school, elementary schools that have been going back into session in Nebraska. And so as you're out and about, make sure you're prepared for the additional traffic. And keep in mind, too, we've been talking about the fog. Watch for some of those stopped buses that are picking up students here this morning. With this kind of fog, can be a little bit more difficult to see those as you're in some of those districts that are utilizing the buses. So keep that in mind. But when it does come to Creighton, you can see already right near campus, things backing up. And I do think coming could be quite slow this morning for eastbound travelers as we see the additional traffic for those who are heading to campus and living off campus to go to the classes this morning. So be ready for that as you head through that stretch. That's an area we could see things bottle up here in the early going. Speaking of bottling up, there's what it looks like on westbound I-80. Things backing up into the 680 interchange with the construction. You're heading westbound. Eastbound starting to show some signs of slowing as well. All that area around 370, 144th, and I-80, that triangle where those three meet, that's where we're seeing a fair amount of delays that are showing up at this point as well. And then I want to real quick touch on a couple of very small areas where there's construction, but could lead to some impacts this morning. Just south of Dodge on 72nd, you've got just a small area with lane restrictions for the next 2 months, where you'll have to merge there as a result of that. Watch for things that could back up as we continue to pick things up. If you're trying to get to I-80 this morning from 60th, that's an area where we have some one-lane travel. That's scheduled for a month. Things could back up there. And then downtown, if you're traveling, 16th closing south of Harney here for the next month. You can see you may impact travel in that area. That's right by the Orpheum Theater. But generally, aside from some delays starting to build on Dodge early this morning, we're moving along in pretty good shape. Keep in mind that fog that is going to be a factor for you, though, as you head out the door.
All right, good to know. Jared, thank you. Now to the White House over ending the war in Ukraine.
Nebraska Representative Don Bacon criticizing how President Trump is handling negotiations. Bacon said he supports efforts to bring peace, but says he doesn't believe the president has shown a clear understanding of the situation. He pointed to what he called Trump's, quote, velvet treatment of Russian President Vladimir Putin.
What really was needed was for him to come in and say, Ukraine's the victim. We're going to give all the weapons we can to Ukraine. We're going to do secondary sanctions on countries that are propping up Moscow or Russia's economy. Play hardball, and you got to change Putin's calculus here. And I don't think the president instead pulled back on helping out Ukraine and withdrawing that. And all that did was embolden Russia in its attacks.
Well, Bacon says despite his concerns, he hopes Russia and Ukraine will reach a deal. Happening today, it's the first day of fall classes for Creighton University.
The class of 2029 is the largest first-year class in school history with about 1,250 students. Now, most of these kids are from Nebraska, but around a third of the students in this class are traveling more than 400 miles to attend the school. Still ahead, soup and beer lovers unite.
Plus, bears having some fun in the sun this summer. The video you won't want to miss when we come back. Well, Campbell's is cracking open a partnership with one of the oldest breweries in the country.
Working with Pabst Blue Ribbon, Campbell's is releasing 2 new beer-flavored chunky soups. One is cheese with potatoes, the other beef, bacon, and beer with chili with beans. The specialty soups will be available only at Walmart starting later on this month.
Maybe I'm crazy. I could see those working.
Do you really?
That's a big old slice of the Midwest right there. Get a cold PBR and a hot bowl of chili or something.
If y'all like it, I love it.
People put beer in their chili recipes fairly often.
Yeah, and you hear about beer cheese,
beer
right?
cheese soup. Yep.
Okay.
So we'll see. Maybe there's something there.
I'll be passing. I'll be passing.
I get her helping.
Laughing at her face. Well, it appears some bears do some of the same things we do to beat the summer heat.
Namely, lounging by the pool with popsicles. So these are the brown bears at the Whipsnade Zoo in the UK. The 4 bears, Cinderella, Manna, Minnie, and Naya, were treated to specialty flavored ice blocks prepared by their zookeepers. They're loving this. They dug into their tasty snacks while frolicking in and around the water in their habitat at the UK's largest zoo.
I love bears. They're some of my favorite animals.
Everybody likes a cute little bear, forgetting that they grow up into
the big ones.
cute big bears.
I love panda bears.
Yeah.
When we were talking about this, I'm like, how big is a bear popsicle?
It's a big chunk. It has to be bear size.
Big chunk of ice. That's all it is.
All right, everybody. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on Stream and over the air.
Have a great start to your Tuesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Aaron Hartley. Let's get right to your forecast, or your traffic forecast, I should say, with Jarrett Lansford.
And there's some delays that you'll encounter as you're heading toward Fort Crook. We've got a vehicle fire being reported a little bit to the north of Capehart. And you can see, if you look closely here, southbound showing some delays in this area. So watch for that. Probably some emergency crews still working that scene with that vehicle fire in place. Aside from that, a lot of the story is the fog. You can see how low the visibility is near I-80, near the Missouri River. And especially you get downtown, near Blair, and then over toward Fremont and Wahoo, where you're seeing some of that lowest visibility. Turn those headlights on. Expect possible delays as people navigate that. Rusty.
Thanks, Jared. And yeah, it all depends upon where you're at, where you see the fog. Just different views here. This is Children's Nebraska camera looking off towards the east with the layer of fog there on the horizon, but the sun high above is able to warm us up and help to burn that fog off. So this is where the worst of the fog is. Dense fog advisory in all these gray shaded counties goes through 9 o'clock. You should really start to see some big improvement in the next hour and a half. As the sun rises, warms us up, there's just some high clouds moving through, and that will increase our ability to get rid of this fog pretty quickly. So we got a lot of 70s out there right now. Near 70 anyway. First alert forecast starts to warm it up from there. We'll climb to about 89 degrees for the afternoon high with mostly sunny skies the way it appears. It looks like another summer day, pretty similar to yesterday. Look at, though, by the weekend and into early next week. That is some cool and comfortable air headed our way. Aaron?
All right, breaking news. We are following an endangered missing advisory issued to determine the whereabouts of Elmer Ramirez Rojas. He was last seen yesterday morning traveling to Hebron, Nebraska. Rojas is 5'4", 130 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a gray long sleeve shirt, a gray short sleeve shirt on top, blue jeans, and brown boots.
It is 7:28. We are back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.
Revenue alone. And that, because they don't do their own news, they'll be like, it's an easy get, and then use somebody's news crew to do it. I'm pretty sure Andrew was talking about it when he was here.
So as an example, that's interesting because, again, I was saying Denver, number one station there is KUSA.
Yeah, with
They're
like
checked down.
Kyle Clark and.
Yep. I mean, actually, all the Denver stations are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
There's really no bad one, but I think their next door is Fox there. So that'll be really interesting.